Hello, good morning everyone. Today we are going to review a very old setup. This is one of the first setups that I learned a few years ago, and still today it is working. It is the impulse setup, where we use a Bollinger band to find when a market goes out of range, so we enter on a breakout. The advantage of a Bollinger band is that it increases the size when the market is more volatile and decreases the size when we are on sideways. When market gets outside of the band, then this is a sign that the market is going to increase the volatility. This is a very simple setup, and the only that we need to do is waiting for price to get outside of the market and enter on that moment. Here, for example, we have a short, another short. So let's see how to create and optimize the settings of this setup. This setup has only two parameters: the period of the Bollinger and the standard deviation, which defines the size of this band. I will start with an empty crude oil chart. This setup works on any instrument and time frame. We add a Bollinger band with a period of 50 and a standard deviation. This is the multiplier of the standard deviation. The bigger the number, the bigger the size of the envelope. If we increase the size, the bands are bigger than before. With a small number, they are closer to the mid band. It can be even lower than 0. With the period, we can make the line to follow closer or not the price action. For example, if we make it smaller, let's say 10, we get a band almost at the same time that the very close to the price action. So that will be a very scalping setup. Maybe with a bigger envelope. Here we have a short, maybe bigger. If it is too big, we never get a signal. But let's go back to the 50. And now we decrease the size of the band to get some signals. Not too much. If the size is too small, we get a lot of signals. So let's start with 2. Maybe a little smaller. If we take a look from the start of the day, we had a short at the start of the day, but now we have a long, a short. This long is too small, so possible a loser. Another long, another short, and another short. This short may be also a loser. and here we have a long. So adjusting the settings of the period and the size of the Bollinger, we can get different type of signals. With a slower period, we can get a less number of signals, but maybe with better performance. This is the first short of the day. Small long, short, small long, a short, a long, another long, and a short, and another short. Depending on the speed that we want to achieve, we can get different setups using different periods and size of envelopes. I mostly use 50. And when we are using this setup on real time, there are several ways to define if we have or not a signal. Let's say that we are looking this on real time. We can enter the market at the exact tick where the price touches the band. That will be on intrabar mode. When the price touches the band, we sell, or we can wait for the bar to close, and only if the bar closes below the band, then we have a signal. An example will be on here, where on intrabar we have an entry, but instead at bar close we don't have signal because the close is below of the band. So for the same setup we have two different ways to enter the market. We can also take into account the number of signals per side. We can trade only one signal per side, all or the signals. Here we have a long, and then we have a short, but then we have several other short signals. We can take all these short signals or only the first one. The first short will be this, but if we only take the first, then we'll be waiting for the first long and then the first short. So we have several combinations to use this setup. We can take only the first signal per side or all the signals, and also those signals can be taken intrabar or at bar close. We can use a custom indicator to paint those signals. This indicator uses a Bollinger, but it is a custom indicator where we can define the period and the standard deviation, and we can also paint all the signals or only the first per side. We can define the type of the marker and the color of the marker. On this example we are going to show all the signals. And also on this example we are on calculate on bar close equal to true, so it is not on intrabar mode. this short signal happens at the close of the bar. Because the close is below the band, then we have a signal. Same here, this close is below and the previous close is over the lower band. Same here, the close is slightly below the Bollinger while the previous close is over, and so on. On this long we have this close over the band and the previous was below. Also on this long, so we are looking at the close of each bar. If we set the indicator to show only the first, then we get only one short on the first breakout and only one long on the first breakout to the upside. And we have a short, a long, a short, a long, and so on. Now we can also take a look of how this works on intrabar mode or at calculate on bar close. On this example, as we are at bar close, when this bar finishes, when the bar closes below, then we have the signal and our fill will be near the open of the next bar. But instead, if we are working on intrabar mode, we get a signal at the exact moment the price is touching the band, so we will get a fill near the band. On intrabar we get an early entry, at bar close we have some slippage. The previous entry for the long, this is the bar with the close over the band, so we get a fill at the open of the next bar. And on intrabar mode we get a fill on this bar, just over the band. Now we can see a market replay with the difference. This is a fast crude oil setup example, and we will focus on this section. We have a short signal, a long, and a short signal. And we can set this to show all the signals. And at bar close we can try automating these signals to see where will be the entries. For that we can use Markers Lite to automate those arrows. So it is set for going long on anything blue and going short on anything red on the replay account. And I will use a very small ATM with small targets, maybe even smaller than 10. Let's say 5 ticks versus 7 or 8 ticks. So I will save this with a name. One contract, 5 versus 8. Select this new item, click on Markers toolbar. Now we are ready to trade from 8:55. Enable longs, enable shorts in automatic mode. So now we are going to try a replay at bar close. All the signals are painted at bar close. So now, as soon as we have a finished bar with the close below the lower band, we have a signal. Like now,
Order
we
filled.
have a signal, a red arrow, and also we get a fill. On this example, we got a good fill because the close was just over one tick below the band. The other signals are not taken because only Markers Lite takes only one signal per side. Now we are waiting for another signal. We need a close over the band to reset the indicator. As soon as we have a close over the bar, then we are ready to get a new signal. Okay, now we have a close over the band. So if this bar closes below, we have a new short signal, like now.
Target filled.
We can also trade only the first signal only with a bigger target.
Order filled.
In this example, we are scalping small target on all the pullbacks. We have a close over, so we are ready for a short. We need a close below the band.
Order filled.
There we have a close.
Target
we have
order
a signal,
filled.
and now we are short. Now we have a close over the band, so we have a long signal. That long signal reverted the previous short.
Target filled.
Each one of these long signals happened because the close is over the band while there was a previous close below the band. On this short, we had to reverse the position when the long signal happened. Now let's review the same, but on intrabar mode. On the indicator, we set it to work with false on calculated bar close, and let's go back again to 8:55. Let's go again. Now we have a close below the band. That means that any touch on the upper band will trigger a long, like now.
Order
filled. Even if that bar is not closing over the band. So this is a fake signal. On intrabar, only touching the band is enough to trigger a signal.
Order filled.
Now when the price touches this band, we have a short, so the long was reversed. The entries are faster, but we can have fake signals, like the first long.
Target filled.
As soon as we have a close over the band, like now, no, not yet. We need a bar closing over the band. Only then we are short ready. There is no close over the band yet, so we are not short ready.
Order
Now
filled.
we are short ready. We have a close over the band, and then the market touched the band, so we are short. There was a little slippage because the entry did not get a fill over the band.
Target filled.
Okay, now we need a close over the band to be short ready again. Now we are short ready.
Order
Not yet.
filled.
Now we have a long,
Or target filled.
and
Or
now a short.
target
So
filled.
we had a fake long and also a fake short. The advantage is that we enter faster, earlier,
Target
at a better
filled.
price, but the problem is that not all the signals are good. So this setup, as we can see, can be followed with just the Bollinger. We adjust the period and the standard deviation multiplier. The two parameters are the period and the standard deviation. We make it big enough to not have fake signal, but not too big to avoid not having signals at all. And we can also use this custom indicator, this impulse setup, that allows to paint all the signals, only the first signals, and also to select the type of object and the color. Can make it paint only the first signal, and we can automate this with any markers version. So we can use Markers Lite to automate the arrows. The indicator to paint these signals, this impulse setup, can be found on the website. theindicatormarket.com/depot. You can select the language on Spanish or English, and if you click on deals, you can find the new indicator at the bottom, impulse setup. You can also find the different marker version at Markers System menu. There are two versions, Markers Lite and Markers Plus. Both can automate any signal, and Marker Plus can also create signals, like for example this setup. If we don't have any indicator, we don't have this custom indicator, we can create all this setup using the tools included on Markers Plus. So I remove all the indicators, and now I will start adding the Bollinger as reference. We were using a 34 as period and a multiplier of 0.7. This is only used as reference. Now we can use the tools included on Markers Plus to paint the signals and also to automate them. We need to copy. All these tools are included on Markers Plus. One of the indicators is copy. With copy, we can copy any line of any indicator and assign it a name. On this example, we are going to copy the upper Bollinger. We set the same settings, 0.7 for the standard deviation and 34 on the period. We select the upper band and we assign the name Bollinger up, Ball up. This is the name that we assign to this line. We do the same with another instance of line copy for the lower band. Select again the Bollinger indicator. Again the same settings, 0.7 and 34, but we select the lower band. There we have both lines of the Bollinger. We can move them over the price, and now we don't need anymore the Bollinger because we already have the copied lines. These are in color blue, but we can also change the color if we wish. Now we need to copy the price. We use the copy, we assign the name close because I am going to copy the close. The default value is the close, so we don't need to put anything here. I don't want to show a line, so I don't want also to assign a new panel. So nothing is shown on the chart. We are only copying the value of the close into the variable close. Now we use the crossover indicator and we check close versus Bollinger up. The result is a new variable. Let's assign any variable on this crossover. We are only interested in the crossover to the upside. When price crosses over the Bollinger up, so I don't paint crossover downs. Now we get these green arrows each time there is a crossover to the upside. We can change later the location of these arrows. This histogram at the bottom is the distance between price and the Bollinger band. We can see it is positive when price is over the upper Bollinger and it is negative when it is below. Now we do the same with the lower Bollinger. We use again a crossover indicator. But this time we check the close versus the Bollinger down. Assign any name to this histogram, but on this case we are only interested on crossover downs, not on crossovers ups. And now we get the red arrows each time there is a crossover to the downside. We have also the option here of calculating at bar close or on intrabar mode. The default is defined on the crossover indicator. The default option is on true, so it is only at the close. So only if the bar finished has the close below the band, we have a signal. We can also set this on intrabar if we want the intrabar approach. For example, here we may have a signal on intrabar mode. Same here. On intrabar we also get more signals than at bar close. Now with Marker Plus we can automate these arrows the same as we did with Markers Lite. Now we can better locate the position of these signals with the offset instead of using 4. These are the green arrows. Instead of using a 4, we can add a negative offset, maybe a little more, -8. So now we have the arrows over the price. And for the short, the same. We change the offset to 8, maybe -8. So now we have just the same setup as we got before with the custom indicator. So to trade this setup, the impulse setup, we can use just a Bollinger, and we place our entries manually. We can use the custom indicator, the impulse setup, and automate the signals with Markers Lite, or with Marker Plus we can create all the setup and also automate the signals. Hope this video has been useful for you, and if you have any question, please post below this video. Thank you everyone, bye bye.